This is Elliot Ives, Memphis musician. You're hanging out in my Memphis production studio in Midtown Memphis. I'm here hanging out with Run Memphis. Let's get into it. I've been doing this in Memphis a long time, played with a lot of bands since high school actually, and some of my really close high school friends. We went to college together here in Memphis at Rhodes College, and we started a band, and we're playing down on Beale Street all the time, and ended up getting a small Memphis-based record deal in early 2000s, and then since then just been branching off with different people, doing different types of music, from metal to rap to comedy to pop to everything I can get my hands on. The greatest thing about coming up in a place like Memphis is the exposure you have to all the talent that's here. There's just a gigantic talent pool, and you know, that's how you get influenced, and that's how you kind of want to get into everything. I would say most influential that got me started would be the rock band Europe and the hip-hop group, the Fat Boys.
Could you tell us, come on, man, you got to give us a little more. How did you end up listening to the Fat Boys, that long rap group? Why the Fat Boys?
Well, I'd say the Fat Boys, amidst, you know, the Houdinis, and then the New Editions, and then of course, Run DMC, and, you know, freaking Will Smith back in the day. But I think I just always listened to music as a kid and wanted to have some rock, wanted the rock side and the rap side. I've always loved the timbre of a rapper's voice. That's what attracts me to rap music the most, is just the voice, more so than the words, the cadence, the voice, and then the heavy edge of the rock guitar. For some reason, I've been married to the two of those. So I would say that's my main influence. Memphis influence. A good friend of mine, Jeff Birch, who started a band with me way back when in college, and he kind of just went through every style of music possible, and we went on adventures, man. And when you go do that, and you delve into all the different genres, it kind of makes you want to, you know, put it all together. Well, Lord Tina Louise, they're a special group. They came here to Memphis to learn about crunk music, because let's be honest, it started in Memphis. All the popularity and the business and the success might have gone to Atlanta, but it started here. So this is where Lord Tina Louise came, and one of the first studios they worked in was a studio here in Memphis called Young Avenue Sound. And I had the pleasure of making music for them. They came in and sought me out, and I was able to make music for them, produce them the first few albums, and then even go on the road with them. But those two guys are insane. Steer clear of them. One of the fondest memories I have with Lord Tina Louise is when we embarked on a West Coast, really a good U.S. loop during the summer. And it was hot everywhere we went, and our air conditioning kept breaking down. But one of the best, the most memorable moment, I think, was going to Skywalker Ranch, about 30 miles north of San Francisco in Marin County, California, going to Skywalker Ranch and playing for Seth Green and Claire Grant's wedding. That was memorable. We drove all the way out there and had gigs on the way, and then we had gigs all the way back, but that was kind of the place where, you know, we just tore shit up, you know. And never forget that. Skywalker Ranch, if you don't know about it, Google it. It's the most amazing place. I met Free in 2003, maybe, towards the end. I was intern, engineer / associate producer or whatever up at Young Avenue Sound. And Free came in to tour it. I guess he wanted to do an album there, and I gave him my card, and not 3 months later, I guess he had an issue with his guitar player and just called me out of the blue and was like, "Hey man, I remember you from the studio. You play guitar. Come play." And the first gig I had was this Grammy competition that we did, where we won the mid or the southern region, and then went on a cruise boat after that to compete nationally and won that. So my first experience with Free Soul was all like competition based. I think we had 4 or 5 competitions that we won all of. So it was a very exciting time, and good to get into some new music with some new people.
Going to Georgia for a job or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, before you got in with Justin's situation, but we all know that all of you guys were involved with Justin at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So how was it going up into the tail end of Free Soul?
It was always a constant grind with Free Soul. I mean, that's the one band I've been in where we have seriously experienced extreme highs and extreme lows. I mean, we would go and do a gig with Justin, you know, in front of, albeit his crowd predominantly, or go do some crazy festival like Lollapalooza or something, and then the next week we'd all be broke, playing at some, redneck ass shithole in Huntsville, Alabama, making no money, being depressed. So it was always a grind, but it had its great moments, and then it had its, problems. I mean, no one, even if you see people, you think they've made it because they've got a deal or they do this. It's a constant grind. This industry is constantly changing. There's no way set pattern that's always gonna, be there for you. So it was always a grind. I mean, like I said, we had some cool moments, and then we had some horrible moments. Justin was the producer on the Free Soul album, so he touched every production that we did. And some of them he would start from scratch. I mean, he was very hands-on with the making of that album. And so during that process, I had the opportunity to go and play guitar for him, so where he would, right in the studio be like, play this or play that or play this. And, we would do that. And then, I went to Timberland's studio one time, and Tim wasn't around all the time, so we would work and we'd finish what we had to do for Free Soul, and then we would just start jamming. And I think it was maybe that moment where I connected with JT on a just a musical level, I hope. But I never ever then assumed ever that he would be calling me to work on his album. That was a dream come true. It hit me in the head out of left field. I might have shat my pants a little bit, actually. It was April of 2012. I got a call from Justin's somebody in his management, and just said, come on out to L.A. Can you come out to L.A. for 3 weeks? I said, what for? He said, I got some he manages other producers and stuff. He's like, I got some work for you. Can you do it? And I was like, when? He's like 2 weeks, May 10th or something. I don't remember. So I said, yeah. I came out, and then that first night I flew in. I went to the studio, and I walk in. There's like a little camera crew. There's, Rob Knox, who works closely with JT, and his entourage, and then I hear this Rhodes piano coming from the booth. It's dark in there, and I'm like, what is that? And then I hear Justin like, oh, hey, man. And I'm like, oh, you know that voice. He came out. He's like, guess what? I'm like, what? He's like, we're going to do my record. And I just turned my head around. I was like, oh, man, this is insane. And so I was literally out there for 5 to 7 months on and off, working on different projects with them, and, working with Timberland, and we would do the intros and outros and bridges and stuff, just tightening up. And then we had so many damn songs that, Justin came back. He's like, well, we're going to do 20 songs, and we even have more than that. I mean, there's like almost 60 ideas from those sessions. Well, I'm going to say this from a guy who's basically been out of town for almost 2 years. Well, over 2 years at this point. 2.5 years I haven't been in Memphis. So I can only tell you about what I know when I come to Memphis on my time off lately in the past 2.5 years, and that of all the places I've been to on this tour and all over the world, Memphis is a very, very special place in terms of the amount of talent it has right here in the city. And not only the amount of talent, musicianship-wise or whatever, but how often people are working here. I mean, there are so many places to see music, and almost every night there's something going on in these places. And a lot of places, it's not really like that. The local scene is not, is not this abundant. I would hope stuff like Run Memphis is a good, way to start getting some of this stuff out there, because Memphis is a great place, but it is definitely difficult to get out and get exposure. And that is something that, I plan on really trying to help with, in any way I can, or just, brainstorm with people on how to really do this. I mean, some people have got some great ideas, in the past 5 years of getting some bands out. I mean, like we were talking about Star and Micey, they've done a hell of a job getting around, and starting to get a great name for themselves. But, it's just going to take stuff like what we're doing now, and a general awareness, and having these bands, when they go out on the road, promote your buddy's band, like drop stuff everywhere. There should be stickers and, I don't know, Yeah, but I mean, as far as music scene here, I think it's crushing. I mean, it's just about how do you get the exposure to get out so these guys can, really make a living doing this, because they deserve to. In the future, well, in the near future, our tour is about to end at the top of January, so I'd really like to come in here and finish some projects that I've been waiting to finish. Band I play in called Rabid Villain, we released an EP called Char not too long ago, over the summer, but I want to do a full length or another EP, or really get that project up and running and get some more gigs. And then Lord Tina Louise, we're working on our 4th album. It's called Cease and Desist, and I'm looking to get that, I'm looking to get that happening and turned in, and some more shows there too. So the sky's the limit, really. I want to make music. I want to meet new artists. I love to get in a situation in Memphis where I could meet some up-and-coming songwriters, singer-songwriters, and do what I do and what my people do with me, and produce them, and try to develop as much as possible, so that we can go compete with a Nashville or an Atlanta, or
When you say that, is it any certain genre of music that you're looking to deal in, or is it just wide open?
For me, there's no certain genre. I just did a country record, I just did a metal record, and a rap record, all in the same month. So to me, it's the more different it keeps me interested,
So what inspires you to do the music? Like, how do you come up with these guitar riffs and these sounds? Where does it come from? When you're on stage, or
you know what? I don't know any better. I'm not kidding. I really don't know any better. I have an iPhone filled with voice memos. I have a few thousand of them, and it's whenever it comes to my head. Sometimes I can't sleep, especially on the road. I'll have sleeping issues, so I'll be up at odd hours of the night, just, and then I can come in here and program that, or it'll be a guitar riff, or even a rap, or some cadence, or a melody, or anything. But I could get at least a dozen of those a day, and those turn into ideas, turn into songs, and then you show those to your production partner, then he adds, then you show those to somebody who's writing songs, or an artist, then they add. That's kind of But the underlying part, how do I do it? No, I don't know.
Okay, so we heard that you just had a brand new baby girl in the world.
Yes.
And I seen her earlier.
Yeah. You almost saw the whole thing here. Thank you.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to give her first shout out.
Wow. Yes.
And make it official.
First shout out to my newborn daughter, 7 weeks of age today. Shout out to you, honey. I love you very much. Vivian Lale Ives. Y'all be on the lookout. She's going to be a mean sucker, man.
All right, Elliot, it's been nice talking to you, man. We're going to check back with you later. There's one thing we have to know before we let you go, and that's a question that we ask every person that we're going to do. Who are you listening to in your CD player? Or who is the last person you listen to that's from Memphis? Memphis music. Who are you listening to right now?
The last Memphis musician I listened to was Yo Gotti.
Yo Gotti.
There it is. Actually, it's funny because Lord Tina Louise took the instrumental from King Shit, and we do this song called White Collar Prison that we just did like a one verse over. So we've been jamming on that, and then I went ahead and just have been jamming that album. I like Gotti's. I like all his mixtape stuff. And I actually got to play Memphis in May with him 2012 when he had the live band, and I think we learned like 35 songs or something. So it was Gotti's one of my favorites, man. He's good. But I appreciate it, man. And Run Memphis, you know, we've been talking a lot, and I'm out there, and you see me. I sport the gear, and you know, anything like this, you know, I encourage it, and you know, I'm here to help, and you know, whatever we can do to keep awareness going on and fuse this thing, man. I'm Elliot Ives, and I run Memphis.